Alright, welcome back to another episode. So, in the last one we were working on our UI. We got the backend done with the frigate side. So we have a factory class. It will handle the class creation of all the new ships, and this factory is a black box for all the other systems to just like, hey, we need a new ship, and it will give it a new ship, and then it'll do their thing with that new ship. So our decision of what class to new up and stuff will come from the factory. We built some statics and stuff, and now we just need to hook up we change the ice ship interface. So instead of using inheritance, we're going to use the interfaces to create all of our classes. And the modules themselves will handle basically most of the game logic as far as what's going on. But now we need to hook up the UI to it. So we've created this build. We built a frigate button just for now. We're just, I think later on we'll figure out some other kind of UI panel for building ships once we have everything clocking and stuff. And then we'll also have it'll have a timer to take building new ships, and each type of ship will have a build time and stuff. But for now, we're just gonna have an instant generation. We need to create the modular slots in the ships with the UI. So the idea of what I have is that we're going to, for this ship, there's going to be three parts, right? So you have this panel here, which is called the ship health panel. And then I put it into a vertical layout group. So I made the ship into a vertical layout group here. And we have three sections to it. We got ship health modules and the module status prefab. And I did this off screen because it's kind of boring messing around and fiddling with the UI stuff like that. Each of these has a horizontal layout group. The ship in here, the modules is going to have a horizontal layout group, and it's going to be in the middle. So if I added more of these prefabs, they just come in the center, and the more will go. And then eventually, once we get past 10, maybe I'll make them smaller or whatnot. And then each of these will have a little icon that we can click on to do later things. So this is the empty icon, and then when we click on it, it should bring up a modal here, and then we select which type of module we want and the cost of it, and this will be all dynamically generated and stuff like that. So and then you have the model status prefab. So for each model, we're going to create a prefab, and then all the statuses of each of the modules will be down here doing their thing, whatever they're doing, in the name of what they're doing. So that's the idea of what we're looking at. Later on, once we go into an hex grid format, we're not going to be able to show all this information on the hex grid. So we'll move this to, if I click on a ship icon to see what it's doing, it'll pop up this right here where we have this part into another screen, so you can kind of see, you can click on different ships to see what they're doing and stuff. And we'll have small little icons to show status things of what they're doing, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. So the next thing we need to do is we need to create this modules prefab, because for each of the frigates, so for the frigate chassis, we have a maximum modules here. So then the number of frigate modules we're going to have for now is just 3. And as we go in, so we need to know how many, because the UI needs to know how many to generate. So we're going to start with 3, maybe next one will be 5 and 8 and so forth. So this will let it know how many to generate here. And then there won't be any statuses until we create the module. So if we want a mining module, if you want a gun module, whatever we're going to do, we're just setting it up so that the UI doesn't care what kind of module it is. It's all wired up to it. So the first thing we got to do is, if you have a UI element and you want to click on something, you need some special you need a special script for it. So we need to create a new script for our UI. What am I looking at? Okay. So we're going here, and we're going to create a module click UI. We can just call it the module UI, because we're going to have some other stuff going on too. Like once it's not empty, we'll have some other stuff to close it out. Another thing we need to do is we need to go through and make sure we're unhooking all this stuff up from the simulation when it gets destroyed. So if I wanted to destroy a module, we need to have some kind of way to go through and unhook up all the registrations, because those are what memory leaks are, and we don't want memory leaks. So, all right, so we have a module UI. This is a mono behavior. Okay. We have some interfaces that we need. So in C#, when you have this colon, this is the first derivative deriving. And then if you want to do interfaces, you need to use a comma. So the big one we want is I pointer click handler. And this requires two other ones as well. It needs an exit and it needs a I pointer insert handler. I believe this is correct. So let's go ahead and implement those missing. Okay, so when we click on it, we want it to, just to make sure that this is working, clicked on the object. And for here, debug.log exited the object. And then for here, debug.log entered the object. So let's see if this works. I believe there's also another error for the prefab. So we're going to go ahead and shut that off for the Fleet UI so it doesn't generate the first one. We're just going to ignore this for now. Because I believe the prefab isn't created, so it's going to try and generate this prefab here, and it's not going to work because there's nothing hooked up to it because I deleted the prefab. So I believe that should fix it, and then we'll have this one. So let's go check this out. We need to hook up the script. So on the module prefab, we need to take the script right here. Let's see if it works, because I know that there's some issues with layers and things. So let's look at our console. So we got the click, exited, entered, and then clicked. It's really odd that it didn't work at first. Let's try that again. Alright, it's working now. Okay, so exit, entered the object, and clicked on the object. Seems a little wonky. Alright, so that is how you hook up a UI element. Now when you're doing something that's not a UI element, you just do ray casting, I believe. But since these are all just UI elements, we're not going to be dealing with that right now. Okay. Module UI. Okay, so what are we doing here? Alright, we need to know, first off, let's get rid of this. And I believe this doesn't work if you don't have this. We can try it real quick to make sure. But I believe this won't work unless you have these three interfaces. I know dragging definitely needs the three. Like the begin drag, end drag, and dragging. Okay, so you still have clicked. Alright, well, we don't need the other two then. I do want this to do, because if we enter the object, I want it to change the alpha. So transform.alpha color. I feel like I'm missing something. Transform dot. It's a game object? No. Image. I need to reference the image. It's fine. Whatever. It's gotta be okay. So I think that I think you need something like a we have to have access to the image to do that. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, let's just make it go transparent whenever we enter and exit. So let's get a reference to the image backgrounds. Okay, so when we enter, we want to background dot color dot alpha. I don't think I can change this. I think I have to. We'll see if I can just reference it equals. Alright, let's go to 0.5. Yeah, see, I can't do that. Yeah, it's a protected class. Okay, so I need to give it a new vector or new color. So equals new color 1 1 1, and let's go to 0.5. So this is white, and when we exit this, let's make it 0.25, and we'll see what that looks like. And on awake. Let's go ahead and set the, it's not a public, it's a private. Let's go ahead and set this to that right here. Okay, and then it needs a reference. So I think you can do double. Is that better? Is that the issue? I thought it automatically converted it from a double to a float. Alright, so if we start this, it should okay, we need a reference to the image. Okay, we can't, yeah. So this is, we need to assign it. So background is equal to game objects. Is it find transform dot find object of type of the image. I think that should work. I'll have to find out really fast. Let's make this private since we're not interfacing with it in the inspector. Let's see if this works. Okay. It should highlight as we enter. So I clicked on the object, but it's not. Did I not? Oh, need the interfaces. Probably shouldn't do that. So it should highlight the object as we get near it, or like make it a little bit brighter. That's what I'm going for. So there you go. It's doing the opposite. Yeah, enter, we want this to be here, and this to be here. So it's just a little bit of highlighting whenever you, to show which object you're on real quick. Then we can do like tooltips and whatnot if we need to. So that looks good. Okay, so we clicked on object. All right. Cool. So we have a modular UI. All right. First off, we need to know, the UI needs to know which one we're doing. Actually, we can just do a pop-up. So let's go ahead and create a prefab first. So this is the module prefab. Let's go ahead and make this a prefab, because I don't think we're doing much else here with that. And then we are going to do something with this as well. So we'll go ahead and put this here now. Let's go ahead and unpack this. Unpack completely. Okay, so we got this is a prefab. and then the actual prefab with the ship isn't going to be there. But we are going to need a, next to the list in the score in the list view, content. All right, in content, we need a modal. So we're going to get a modal window, style 1. This is the module dropdown. Okay, we don't want it to be, let's go ahead and put this here. Height 200 to 200. I think that's big enough. Let's go ahead and position it here. Let's give it a little bit of background, which it already has, but it's not transparent. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff. So we're not going to use a modal. I just want a panel. Let's go ahead and let's create an empty. All right. They have a panel preset, so let's go ahead and make that. Let me make a panel. I want it not to be stretched out. Just want it to be centered for now. We'll deal with that stuff later. We're going to move this here. On the top right. And maybe possibly have something where it will move next to the ship. I mean, probably not, because we're going to be changing all that anyway, so I think in the center is fine. Let's go ahead and make it a little bigger. Not too big. Let's put this at 0 and 0. Yeah, that works for now. And we'll have an X on the top and stuff like that. So this is the module dropdown. So whenever we click on one of the modules, this will pop up. We need an OK and a cancel. And let's go ahead and make that then. We can make that. So button, let's just make it, excuse me. Let's make it green. This is going to be attached to the bottom left. And it's going to have, let's give it 100 by 20. And then let's lift it up a bit. It's like 20, 20. And this is going to say, okay. And it looks ugly, I know. I get it. It hurts. It hurts me too. This is going to be attached to the bottom left. Also 20. It's going to be negative 20. This is going to be 20. We want it to be red. Let's say cancel. That works. Yeah, it looks ugly as hell. Okay, so on here we're going to create the basically a this is going to be the module list. You could just make a list from the modern UI, but we're just going to do it here. So this is going to stretch everywhere, but we're going to lift up the right here. Okay, that screwed something up, I think. Because it's still anchored. Let's do this. It's probably better. Alright, anyways. So if we want to create a, let's say that we wanted some like text, right? So this is a module listing. It's not going to be a text. We want to Yeah, we want to create a prefab for this. So we're gonna have for each module that we have, we need to know the name of the module and we want to know how much it costs. So we're gonna have basically an object, and it's gonna have two texts on it, and then we're gonna change those texts depending on what we're doing. And then we also need to be able to select that, and so I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. And what we need is we're gonna make it empty. And this is going to be the module list needs to have a vertical component for the layout, and each module listing is going to be force expand, control the height and width. Yeah. And okay, so what it's doing is, we don't want to control the height. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so this is like 50, and then we'll have like two texts on it. First one is the module name, and the second one will be the module cost. Okay, so for the module listing, we need a horizontal layout group. And we want to control the size. We want to control the height, not the width. And the width is like 50. No. Now we want to control both. But we do want to change the text size. And we want to center. So select module name, and then we can let's be like mining module. Or just say mining. It could cost 100 or something. Okay. Probably need something like a border on this. So let's go to this, create a image, and then give it a small border. Let's see if I can even do this. A very short border. That's really round. I want a small border on the edge. It's not gonna play with me. That's way too much of a border. It's like all border. What are we gonna do? See, it's funny because the circles look better than the frickin'. I mean, you know. Yeah. It's almost like I have to make my own. Just need like a small border. Because it's sliced. Oh, sweet. Alright, that's much better. Yeah, slice was not working. Let's try this. Okay, that looks horrible. Does it look better? No, it doesn't look better, but it does separate it. And then we can, when we go into the module listing and stuff, we can also do a, like, as we go around and click on it to select it to go. Okay, so we have a module listing, and then we have this UI, this module list panel. We have two buttons. OK button, and then we have the cancel button. Alright, so we click on this, this needs a pop-up. So we need to give a reference to this pop-up. There's a few ways to do that. We can one of the ways to do that is we can do static events. Do I want to do a static event? I don't know. We would have to give a reference to this UI in every single module script, which I don't know if I want to do. We need to store which module is selected somewhere, and then we need to store which one of the mining things is selected. We need to also hook up cancel to like just get rid of it, and then OK also attempts to build that module, and we need an error check for that. So we can start with a static event. I think I don't know if I mean it would make sense. We're not hooking it up. We're only hooking up the panel to listen for the thing, and we can send the module itself, which is fine. Alright, so we can go ahead and we are going to eventually need a private iModule that we're going to be storing here. And then we can send this up on the event, which is fine. Let's go ahead and make it a static event. So, public static event action, and then I guess module. Let's just not send anything right now. So open module listing panel. Public static void on module listing panel. Click. We're going to open module listing invoke for now, and then we'll see what we need to create. But this creates this, so we can store this in the module UI. So if we click on the event, we can say statics dot on module click, and then we just do that. So click on it, and then we're going to do some logic. So now what it listens to this? I believe who controls that? I guess the fleet UI would control it, because we're going to be sending the create new module command through the fleet UI. So let's go ahead and put it through there. Okay. So we have the public game objects. What we could do is have a script. I don't think I have a script, so let's just call it game objects. The module listing panel. Let's go ahead and wire that up. So where's my fleet UI? List view. Content. Where is my fleet UI? Is it here? No. It's on. It says list. Where's my list? List here. Okay, that's where it's at. Okay, missing a module panel, which is here. No, that's the prefab. We also need the prefab. Alright, so we have the module list in here. Alright, so when we need to set up the thing. So we need to open the void open module listing panel. Okay, and when this happens, we want to module listing dot set active is true. We can send a boolean because we might want to turn this off too. Let's go to statics and let's create it as a boolean. So we're going to send a boolean and open the. We can just say this is true, and we can also do an action for close it as well. All right, module UI. So when we click open, we want to send it true. This requires a boolean. There you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and hide it first. So this needs to be inactive. Let's see if we click on it, it'll open it. So set it as inactive. Let's go ahead and start the game. So we got the highlight, click on it, did not show up. Nothing's changing, so it's not firing. Module UI. Let's click here. Let's go ahead and make sure we actually are firing this off. Clicked on object. And then for the statics, we will make sure we're opening this. Oh, nothing's wired, that's why. Go to the Fleet UI, let's go ahead and on setup, we need to statics dot on module. No. Is it public? It's not public, is it? Okay, so we're good. That should work now. Okay, highlight, click, and we open up our menu. Okay, so when we hit cancel, we want this to fire it off, but with false. So, I don't think we can do that in the Unity menu, can we? Can we click on? Because we don't have a reference to the statics here, so we have to do it through code. I don't want to create a script just for that, though. I mean, we can create it here. So public void close module listing panel. I mean, we can just do it twice. Actually, yeah, we already have it right here. Just go ahead and make this a false. So this is in the list. Here we go. Go to the Fleet UI, and we want to here, and we want to make sure it's false. So that should work. Let's find out if it works. If I hit cancel and it closes, click cancel. Okay, cool. All right, so now that we have a module listing and we have a prefab, so we have the module prefab, which is here. We have the module listing. Okay, so let's look at what we need to do for the for here. We're just going to need to have a module listing script. We need to start organizing our UI scripts here as we get more. So module listing UI. And basically we're just going to be doing the same thing we do here. That was dumb. We are going to need the namespace, and we are going to need our handler, pointer exit handler, and pointer enter handler. And we are going to the same image. I don't know if we're going to store that module though. I think we're fine with that. So let's go ahead. This should highlight it as we go. And the image should just be the surrounding part of it. So let's go ahead and check to see, make sure that's working right. We need to hook up the script. Completely forgot to do. Okay, so enter, exit, and then click doesn't do anything. What did the click do? Yeah, it should do that. Okay. So it basically every click would open up the menu, which it was already open. So okay. I don't think we need anything else for the prefab for the module listing. That's pretty much what we're going to do. Because if we duplicate this, I don't want it to look like that. Let's go ahead and change this upper left arrangement. No padding. What is the padding? No padding. Why isn't it? Position is odd. What if we put it in the middle? Height. No, definitely don't want that. Oh, it's the force expanding. Oh, it's not force expand the height. So the height, let's say, is 50, and this is 50. Yeah, alright, that looks better. It's the force expand that was the problem. That looks better. Yeah. So we do this, or just add as we go. And that looks so ugly, but we'll do a graphics pass at some point. I don't want to deal with graphics right now. So we have a text. Let's go ahead. We are going to need a reference to those two texts on it because we're going to be changing them. So let's go to our script and add a public text mesh pro GUI of the module cost and a public text mesh pro GUI of the module name. And then let's grab reference to these two, and then we'll make this prefab and move on for our lives. Alright, module name goes here, module cost goes here. Go to the prefabs, module listing here. Okay, and let's go ahead and delete this, so that when we generate the list, it doesn't have anything. Okay, so now we need to know a list of what modules we need to add to the list. So we need to generate one of these prefabs for each module that we want to list in the game. For now, we're not going to differentiate between like motherships and frigates, but eventually we are going to have special modules. I think probably the best place to do that would be like a factory. So we're gonna have I'm thinking about probably just doing a module factory to let systems know what modules to build. And that's probably one of the better ways to deal with it. So let's go ahead into the game. And where is my scripts? Ship factory. Yeah, so these are my statics. So this is going to be our module factory. We're going to store a list of all the modules here, so that only if I have to add modules, there's only one place I want to go to. Okay, so this is not a mono behavior. This is going to be static. So another black box system that we're going into. So for right now, just make sure we're hooked up to it. I guess we could do like an enum for it's bad. Like I just want to like just have the real way you want to do this is reflection. So anything with the iModule interface, I want to create a list of, and then each module will have a cost to it. So let's go ahead and make a static for how much this costs. So public const int is the mining module cost. Let's say it's 50. Let's go ahead and put this with the other mining stuff. So for the iModule, we also need to have a cost. So public current status. We need a name for it too. So public string module name. Then we're gonna have a public int for the module cost. And then we need to go to our miner, and we need to implement those modules or those interfaces. Okay. For the miner, we're going to be when we construct this. So the mining name, module name is going to be equal to mining, and then the module cost is equal to statics dot mining module cost. So now we can pull those two from the factory when we build it. So the question is for the factory, module factory. All right, so how do we get those things? The thing that you would do is you would go through with reflection and create a list of all the modules in the game that have iModule. I forgot off the top of my head how to do that. I think we're just going to do that, and that should be fine. I don't want to get too much into reflection, but basically what it does is you tell it to look at the namespace of that it's in. Where's my module factory? Okay, so you're basically looking at the namespace windows, and then you just go to the iMiner interface, and then every class that has that we want to make a list of. So how do you make a list of classes in C# that have a specific interface? Or I guess types. Using reflection, how can I get all types to implement? So it's var types, that's one way to do it. So let's go ahead and try this. It's going to require some create field type. iMiner. No, not iMiner. iModule. No, that didn't work. Definitely get rid of that. type? I did this wrong. It was just type. This is why I don't like doing reflection, because you're getting the assemblies from here, and the assemblies is a very different topic for C#. This is basically the boilerplate stuff in C# that I don't like to deal with. My module. Say a list by module. So this is the problem right here. So something's going on here. So the type is the types. This is assignable from. I don't think that's right. Maybe it's because it's static. Well, let's try not doing static then. Let's create a public class. Does that work? Yeah, that works for me. It's not static. Okay. What's your problem? What you got? Constructor? No. Alright, let's try a different code. Yeah, this doesn't work, I think, specifically what I'm trying to do. This is why I don't like reflection. But yeah, you would normally just get like, we'll just ignore this. But basically you go through the assembly and you find all the classes that are that have a derivation of iModule on it. And it's going to take some research to find out what the boilerplate code to get all that is. So for now, I'm just going to have the typos. So let's say list of iModule. We're going to say list of types. I could just create a dummy module. We could just have one module here, and then it'll have the assigning on it. Is there anything in here that I don't need? I could just create one module. Alright, let's try that. List of iModule. And we'll make this static. So public static list of module listings is equal to new iList module, and then let's go ahead and create that, which is a new minor. That's really all we need to do. Alright, so we have the minor here, and then we can, okay, it's public, so we have the listings. Alright, module listing UI. So, what we can do is on start, after we've created it, we can just fill it with the mining modules. So start. Then we need the mod. Okay, this is the modules in UI. This is not here. We do need to store the module though. So private iModule module, and then awake. We need to initialize it. So public void initialize, and we're going to give it an iModule. Module is equal to m, and then the module name is equal to the module dot name. Okay, so the module dot text is equal to that, and then module cost dot text is equal to module dot module cost. We need to stringify this. Okay. All right. So whenever basically once we create the module listing, which is going to be controlled from the Fleet UI, here we need to initialize this. So so on initialize, we need to grab the module listing UI off of the prefab that we're going to create. So I guess we'll just create it here. Public game objects for the module listing prefab. Let's go ahead and grab a reference to that. It's in Fleet UI, so it's on list. Let's go ahead and just rename this to Fleet UI so I don't forget. Alright, so prefabs, it needs a modulus prefab, which is right here. We have the module listing. That's the wrong prefab. This is the prefab I'm looking for. Because this is this prefab. Oh, okay, we need to go ahead and rename this. Alright, so Fleet UI, let's go ahead and create module listing prefab. And on creation, we're going to go ahead and make this. So fleets, open module listing, blah, blah, blah. We need to, module listing prefab, we need to grab a reference to the module listing UI. ML UI is equal to, we need to find the game objects. Module listing prefab dot. Oh, we need to create we need to instantiate it first. we have the list of the panel. Do we have a list to the we need the parent. So public game object module listing parent. And this is actually a transform. So we want to know the thing that we wanted to hook up to. So it's going to be this. So go ahead and okay, let's go ahead and comment that out because we can't start this without the it won't save this stuff, and I can open up the script here unless we have all correct. So alright, here's the parent. Okay, so when you get the loss, we need to create the thing. So public, or let's create the object. So game object go is equal to find go dot no instantiate module listing prefab, and we want to module list. We want to get to the parent. Okay, now we have the Go. So now let's go ahead and now we have this specific Go. So if we try to do it from the prefab itself, it has been instantiated, so I can't grab the script from it. We need to find the game object. What did I do before? It was working fine before. Oh, get component. Okay, yeah. Okay, so the module listing UI, ML UI is equal to the go.get component of the module listing UI. So we're going to grab the script off of this game object that we just instantiated. We also need to make sure we have the scale correct. For some reason that's not working. Okay, and then we want to initialize. So we need a module that we're going to initialize. So we need to get a list of iModule, so for each module, iModule in module factory dot module listings. We need to do this for each one here. So let's go ahead and move this here. So we're going to grab the module list. We're going to create a prefab for each of the modules that exist in the game. And then we're going to parent them all to that list, and then we're going to initialize it with that module. So mlui.initialize, and we're going to pass it the module. That's done. So let's go ahead and we got this. So this is empty right now. There's no modules listened to it. So let's go ahead and see if that populates or not. And there you go. So if I added a second module, I'm sure it will open up, but we'll run into that bug when we get to it. So now we have this. Populates, clicks on there, cancel, pops up again. Nothing happens when I click on it, but now this works. So whenever we want to add another module to the game, we're going to have to go to here and add it to this list so that it populates, and then we can mess around with this later for different types of ships and whatnot. We can change it, but for now we're just going to have a list of all the types of modules, and then we can create modules here and pass it that we need when we actually create ships. Alright, so what are we doing next? So the module list in UI, when we actually click on it, let's go ahead and do a debug.log of we clicked on the, and then plus module name, module. Let's see what happens here. Module.text. Alright, so we click on this, nothing happens. It should be highlighting though. Ooh. Well, that's not good. It's highlighting the cancel button, but not this. That's really odd. What is happening? Why are you a problem? See, nothing changes on the button. Is this highlighting? It's not changing here either. What is highlighting? Image on the background. Where's my image background? It's right here. Yeah, that's changing. Oh, I bet it found all game objects. Because I did this. No. Get component. So don't use find objects of type. It's not a good idea. Where is my button though? Is this the only one I did that with? I thought there was another one. Module listing and then module UI. Yeah. Get components. That's what we want. Okay, that should be better. So whenever if you just do get component, it assumes that the game object you're referring to is the one that the script is attached to. So if I don't specify which game object, it just goes with the one, whatever script it is. Yeah, see, now it's working. Okay, and this, blah, 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 blah. So it was getting a reference to the first image it found. So everything looks like it's working. So I clicked on the Mining module here. Why does it say, oh, there's no space. And then click this opens, click, and it doesn't, another thing you can do, since I only did an initialize of the fleet UI, like if you'd done this in like, every time it opens, it would create this list. So, alright, we have this, so we need to store this, which mining module we're clicking on, into somewhere. We need to store it somewhere. Probably the fleet UI, I think, is where we're going to want to store this, but I feel like the fleet UI is already doing a lot. We don't have any scripts on the module dropdown. We probably could just store it here, but I don't want to create a whole new script for just that one component right now. So selected. We can store the selected module in fleet UI and then send up the event when we click OK to build the module, which I think might be okay. Well, we're almost there. So we're getting there. I'm going to take a break, think about how exactly where I want to place this and the best place to do it. What we need to do, like clicking on any of these modules will highlight. So we need to be able to shut that functionality off when there actually is a module. Like once there is a module, I don't want it to pop up again until we like destroy the module. So we'll have some functionality for that. And then we need to actually build the module, and then we need to create the prefab for this and how many modules we have. Actually, we can do that right now. So let's go ahead, and we have the functionality now for this module here. Just on the ship. So this is here. Let's go ahead and create a module we already have a module prefab. Did I already do this? Yeah, so let's go ahead and delete this. So we need to populate the modules now. And we need to actually populate the entire ship. So let's go ahead and get rid of, so I also need a status prefab as well. So we got a lot of work to do here. This isn't the prefab, this is the holder for the statuses. So this is the module status list. And this is not going to be a horizontal layout group. I mean, this entire thing is the module, but we need a place to store this. So this is the prefab. Let's go ahead and move this here, because this is basically deleted. We need a panel for this, or an empty. And this is the module status list. And this is going to be 100, sure. And then we need a vertical layout group. And don't want to force expand the height, but we do want to control the size of the width, and we want to expand it all the way. And yeah, so like if we did this on here, and then yeah, that looks good. And we have the modules here. And then if we go past 2, we're going to need to expand this, but that's a problem for another time. we'll keep this in an hour. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to dynamically create the modules. We need to build those modules and have it stored in the ship. We need to wire up to the modules so that we have statuses, and we also need to generate the status here so we see the thing fill up, and then we can test around, play around with it, and see, make sure it all works, that the asteroid is going 3 times faster if there's 3 mining modules, that the cost isn't going, and we also need to be able to destroy the modules, and maybe some other modules that we need. So we are getting there. We got our ugly panel here for a pop-up. Everything seems to be wired up. We just need to be able to select which module we're doing. We need to be able to store which module we clicked on in the first place, so that we can actually create a module for that slot. And then we need to be able to update the simulation, let it know that it actually created a module there, and make sure we can create the module. And then we need to wire up the statuses to the modules interfaces so that the UI will update as the module does things. And I think that will be it for that. So that will be pretty much everything I want to do for that. I should be done with it hopefully in the next one. And then we can start adding crew. I think the next step will be being able to, we need to man these modules. So they will work more efficient if we have more people with a logarithmic, like the more people you add to the job, it will increase the efficiency, but there's a limit. Like, let's say there's 3 people on the mining module, it will be double. We'll say there's 5 people, then it'll be triple. You know, like the more people we add will not be a one-to-one relationship. So we got to figure out a formula for that, and then we need to be able to crew. We need to be able to transfer crew from the mothership to ships and stuff. That needs to take time. We need to be able to build ships, and it'll take time for it. So lots of stuff we can do. I think the biggest problem that I'm foresee on the horizon is letting the ship know where it's at. Like, the modules don't have a reference to the ship, so I don't know. I have to figure out how I'm gonna have this child-parent relationship between I want modules that affect the ship. But how do I send information to the ship what the module is doing? Like, say for engineering, we increase the amount of health it has. Like, if we have an engineering, what about shields? What about repair times? Like, more engineers you have, the less amount of time it takes to fix the health and heal itself. And I'm not sure how much I want the modules to know about the ship. So that's a design thing. That's basically what I'm gonna be thinking about from now on. But yeah, UI work is not happy work. Like, this part is kind of boring. I don't like this as much. I more like the simulation, but it's something we have to do. I'd rather do all the graphics in one pass, so I don't care if it's ugly. And then we'll deal with the art and layout and stuff like that in a future episode. But I want the functionality of the simulation first, and just basic bare bones UI stuff before I want to deal with aesthetics. I want to have a playable, fun game before I even deal with aesthetics, because aesthetics don't mean much to me. So, I will see y'all in the next one.